Hello, this is Idodmg and welcome back to the channel. In this Superfuse video, I'm going to talk to you about the Technomancer's class Metal. We're going to cover all of these different skills, and I hope this video helps you decide if this is a class you want to invest your time into, or maybe check out some other classes. Make sure you check out the other guides. We'll have a link down in the description and at the end of the video. So after this video, make sure you peruse the YouTube channel for everything Superfuse. The Technomancer has some really cool mechanics tied to it, and there's one that I want to point out here that's really important for this metal spec. The very first skill you unlock is called Metal Shard, and Metal Shard is a projectile, physical damage, spell damage, damaging ability. We'll go ahead and show it off in its true form that you get when you very first unlock the skill, and it's just one little dart. And overall, the skill, I gotta say, feels great to use, and it's just a great starter skill, and you can of course ramp it up over time. But the mechanic I want to point out here before we dive any deeper into the Technomancer here is the metal system and the scrap mechanic. So as I'm shooting out my metal shards here, you can see these scraps are growing on the ground here. And that's actually from my ability. It's leaving these metal scraps on the ground. Now there's things you can do with this scraps. There's different skills that are going to interact with this. Kind of reminds me of like a Necromancer from Diablo. So for the sake of the video, I've gone ahead and put my fuses back onto Metal Shard. And you can see there, it was only making a few metal scraps on the ground. But now that we have so much more projectiles, it's going to actually produce even more of those metal scraps. So I can really show you what I want to talk about here. So as you use the skill, metal scraps show up. And not only are they just showing up there for you to use with other skills, but the more scraps you have out on the ground, the more of your mana bar is blocked off. So now that you know about the main mechanic of the Technomancer for its metal specialization, I'm trying to think of a name for this. Metal Mancer? Let's just go with Metal Mancer for the rest of the video. The next skill you're going to unlock while you're leveling up is called Salvage. This will recall scrap to your targeted location, and you'll gain a temporary regeneration buff. What's really cool about this skill, and I'll go ahead and show you how it works in its form when you very first unlock it. Once you have some scraps built up, you can go ahead and salvage them and go ahead and get that regeneration going. I also put a fuse on this, and I didn't get this fuse until later on, and it is called Barokinesis. I don't know, maybe I'm saying that right, who knows. But what it is each piece of scrap that you salvage with the skill, you also get a damage buff. And what's really cool about this fuse is it actually stacks up. Let's go ahead and see here if I can show you what I mean. We'll go ahead and there's one, so you can pay attention to our buff bar. You can see I have 2 stacks now, and this really does ramp up. I mean, this took me from doing like 50 damage up to like 500 damage the other night. So super great ability, and it also, that health regeneration is also key, and you may not have to use as many health potions if you're utilizing this skill as well. And this is just early on a great way to help clear out those metal scraps that you're leaving on the ground, so you can have your mana bar. Next up we have Impale. Impale is a damaging area of effect, wall, physical damage, impact, collide. I'll be honest with you, I have not spent much time with this ability. I don't even have it on my bar, but I'll go ahead and show you in the video here. I don't know, I really wasn't a fan, but then again, like I said, I haven't invested much time into fusing this ability, so I'm sure you could tweak it and make it great, make it fun. Perhaps I'll do that my next playthrough. But here's what the skill looks like. Again, this is Impale on the Metal Mancer. That's what it does. Actually kind of good. I don't have any fuses on it or anything. That's just by default what it does. My problem with this skill though is since it's a wall, if you use it and there's monsters behind, there's actual collision with these little spike walls. Overall, interesting skill. I'd have to invest more time in it to really form much more of an opinion on that. Now this next skill was my all-time favorite skill, and this is really what kind of sealed the deal with me for sticking with the Techno for as long as I have and as much more as I plan to. And this skill, of course, is Scrap Ball. This one has a really lot of cool interaction with all those scraps. So the way that this skill works is you conjure a swirling ball of scrap, damaging enemies in its path and drawing in nearby metal from your other skills, which causes it to grow in radius. And as such, the skill has the damaging area of effect, spell damage, conjuration, and physical damage tied to it. I did find a fuse in here that I was really excited for, and it was called Mirror Conjuration, and it doesn't work with the skill. I'm not entirely sure why. Let me go ahead and drop one off here so I can make enough capacity for it. I was really excited when I saw this fuse drop, and then I was really let down to see that it just doesn't
work. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. I don't really know. If anyone knows, maybe it's a glitch, whatever, let me know down in the comments. Now that I have some scraps built up, I'll go ahead and show you what the skill looks like. You can see it hits those scraps, consumes them, and just makes the thing freaking huge. This skill is absolutely great, and this had a really cool fuse that I found. A lot of these cool fuses I found were actually later on in the story, and I don't know if level ties into it or not, but they seem kind of to tie into them in some way. The fuse here was Scrap Storm. I don't have it because I'm not actually using this skill in my current build, but what it does is it increases the damage by 3% per scrap that the storm consumes. One other thing to note here is this is a conjuration skill, so you can only have one out at a time. You only have one conjured, so if you have one out, try to cast another. It won't let you one at a time, so you can't sit there and spam the ability. Overall, great skill. This one was really fun to use to try to position around your scraps and all that fun stuff. Absolutely enjoyed this during the story. So when I had completed the story, I was not high enough level yet, and I had to do a little bit of grinding here to unlock the very final skill called Bolt Storm. This skill is amazing. This is by far my favorite skill in the game so far. I don't know if it's just the animation or what, but this thing really just is enjoyable to play with. This is another skill that's going to consume your scraps that you have out. What it is it consumes all the metal shards in an area and launches them into a target location. So let's go ahead and get some shards out here, some metal scraps, whatever you want to call them, and we'll go ahead and use it. Look at this thing. Look at the animation on that. It is so fun to use. Now, if you don't have any scraps out, it has a smaller radius, of course. You can see right there, just a little dinky little thing. Yeah, I love this skill. This thing's really fun to use. Just go around. Pretty much what I'll do is I'll just go around and hit them with my metal shard to build up the scraps. And then I'll go ahead and consume them with my salvage ability to get that damage buff up. And then I'll go ahead and do 2 more shots and go ahead and pop the big boy ability there. It just is all around a really fun class to play, and I absolutely love the special mechanic with the metal scraps and trying to micromanage your resources.
I hope you enjoyed this video talking about the Superfuse Technomancer metal specialization. If so, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more videos. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.